Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to be taking a dive into some useless and horrible abilities in Garden Warfare 2. Now, I want to state this. There is a difference between an outclassed ability and a useless ability. I'll explain in further detail in today's video. But, please like the video, subscribe, join the Discord down below, always looking for people to play with Garden Warfare 2. Let's get right into the game! Alright everyone, we are in the game, and I think a perfect start to this video is none other than the Multi-Shuck. So, Multi-Shuck, it costs 500,000 coins, you could get it from Rux. The regular Shuck Shot, let's talk about it. Regular Shuck Shot is an amazing ability. It's really powerful, it's really strong. It has great accuracy, it has great projectile speed, and it does a ton of damage. It's a great counter to the big bolt blaster, it's a great counter to people standing still, and it's just a great counter to everything. You never not want to use this ability. It's really good, and arguably it's better than ZPG, but I don't know. But, however, the ultimate ability, the Multi-Shuck, is worse in every single way possible. Now, I want to state this. This isn't an outclassed ability, this is just objectively worse in every single way. It is useless. If it was in the game, nothing would change. There's no reason to use this at all. So, as you can see, it takes even longer to come out than the regular Multi-Shuck, as well as the projectile speed being much slower, the accuracy being awful, the recharge being exactly the same, as well as the ability doing the same amount of damage as the regular Shuck Shot. There is literally no point of using this at all. People say it's decent for splash, but like if you're using splash on a Shuck Shot, that's not how you're supposed to be using the ability. And remember, if you like using any of these abilities, just know that you're allowed to have your own opinion. Alrighty, here's the next one I want to talk about. It's the Iron Maiden. It's a walnut inside iron. Minecraft reference, iron armor. The reason I think it's completely useless and not an outclassed ability is because if you have all the abilities, which is what I'm talking about, hypothetically, if you have all the abilities, there is no reason to use the regular Iron Maiden, and I'll tell you why. The Bling Maiden is just better in every single way. I'll show you why. So if you try to stack the Iron Maiden, you actually cannot stack them, which sucks, because a great use for these is stacking them to get up on higher places. That's my favorite use for them personally. But however, the Bling Maiden, something interesting happens with this one. As you guys can see right now, if I could get on top of here, you can actually stack them on top of each other. And yes, it looks very strange, and I think this is unintentional, but yes, it is part of the game, and I'm going to count that as the regular Iron Maiden being completely useless. Sorry, regular Iron Maiden, you have no niche. The thing I see a lot is people saying multi-rocket is bad and completely useless, and that's just simply not true. So I want to talk about it in today's video because I think today is a good time to talk about it. Multi-rocket does have a niche. It still does 200 damage, which is a lot, but the projectile speed is significantly faster than ZPG's. As you can see, that was like instant. Now on the other hand, the ZPG is a pretty slow projectile, and if you're far away, you can see that thing coming and you could get out of your rooted ability. Multi-rocket, on the other hand, you're not going to be able to. It shoots extremely fast. Unless you are really far away from the character using multi-rocket, you're most likely going to have to get hit by it. So yes, the multi-rocket does have a niche and it is not outclassed. It's more so, which one do you prefer? Multi-rocket is not at all a bad ability. I don't think it'll ever be a completely outclassed ability. I actually enjoy using it. So the rocket jump is the jump you start out with for the soldier class, and I hate saying this because it's a bad ability, but it still has a niche. It still has a niche because if you really want to go to certain places, this is the only ability you can use because it goes a lot higher than the rocket leap. So as much as I'd love to call this ability useless, it technically does have a use. So this doesn't fall under the category of a useless ability. The recharge on it is pretty good as well, and you could even momentum jump with it. I kind of have a guilty pleasure with this ability because I've used the rocket leap so much, and using this one is just kind of fun. But the rocket leap is better in every single way. But the rocket jump does have its niche. Alright, the next one we're going to be talking about is on my GOAT Captain Cannon, the Looty Booty Barrel Blast. Looty Booty Barrel Blast is a more expensive barrel blast. There's just one difference, and it's not noticeable from the start. So barrel blast, if you don't know how it works, I'll quickly explain. You get a bunch of speed when you use it, and you get armor when you go inside of it. It's a great escape option, and it's a great aggressive option for the pirate class. Like I said, it gives you armor, so you could tank a lot more hits when you're in here. So if someone's shooting you, you could go in your barrel, and then you can safely go behind a corner, and then a lot of people don't know this, you could press the cancel button, and you could hop out of the barrel. So it's pretty useful. But the reason the Looty Booty Barrel Blast sucks and is useless is because it doesn't give you as much armor as the regular Barrel Blast. The regular Barrel Blast has a significantly better armor multiplier, so you're going to tank a lot more damage in this one, and it does the same amount of damage, and there's literally no reason to use the Looty Booty one. This one is just better. Like, not even, there's no niche, it doesn't go faster, it's just useless. Little fun fact though, there's an emote that is called the barrel balance, and you see right there how it's the regular barrel, and then I have the Looty Booty barrel selected. If you have the Looty Booty barrel selected, a jester, it'll actually put you on the Looty Booty. So if that's a niche, I guess that counts, but that's not a niche in my opinion. Here's a fun one. So the Bolt Blaster. It's a really good engineer ability. It does a ton of damage, has really good accuracy, and it's a great ranged option. And fun fact, if you look at the sky, you could even tank some explosives like butter and bean bombs. It's kind of hard to do, but it's actually a thing you could do. Very, very useful tech. However, you'll notice the reticle of the regular Bolt Blaster is in a plus shape. What does it have to do with anything? Well, the bedazzled Bolt Blaster is actually in a different shape. As you could see, it matches the regular engineer's reticle, which is this U-shaped reticle. The Bolt Blaster is identical to it. Though I wouldn't say this is a useless ability, because they're both the exact same ability, just reskins. They both have good damage, amazing damage output. It's just the reticle is different, so it's more of a preference. Which one do you prefer? I actually like using the bedazzled Bolt Blaster. I don't know if I'm more used to it, but I prefer it. This one isn't really a useless ability, it's more just like a disappointing ability, but it still goes with the theme of the video, the useless and stupid abilities, and that is the Retro and Bling Gatling. So, Retro Gatling is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine again. I actually like this ability. I think the noise it makes is satisfying, and it's still fun to use, but like I said, it's just completely outclassed by the regular P Gatling. Has a slower fire rate. It just overall does less damage. But the Bling Gatling is a clone of the Retro Gatling. I wish they made the Bling Gatling a clone of the regular P Gatling, because this one is just a clone of the Retro Gatling, and it doesn't have anything unique. What if it had like a super fast fire rate, and it did less damage, like something like that? But this is more of a missed opportunity than a useless ability. So these two, they do have a niche, however, like they do more damage, and they have certain properties than, like, more damage per shot than the P Gatling, and they have certain properties. P Gatling overall has a better damage output though, because it's faster fire rate. But these are more so kind of stupid. Like, why? They look cool though, but why would you use them? Alright, so the next one I want to talk about is the Chomp Cannon. So this one, again, isn't really a useless ability, and I'll explain why. This one goes under the Outclassed category. This isn't a bad ability at all. It does 100 damage, it's pretty accurate, it has a fast recharge as well, gives a Chomper a bit of range, but it's not a bad ability, it's not useless. You could still have a use for it. This one goes underneath the Outclassed category. The regular Goop is just better. The regular Goop is potentially the best ability in the entire game. And that's because the Goop's recharge is extremely fast. As you can see, it's almost already done. The Goop has a huge splash radius, and it does DOT damage, aka damage over time. So if you hit something with it, it'll actually do damage over time, which is really good. As you can see, it's ticking him for 5, and I barely even aimed at him. So as I said earlier, it has a really fast recharge, so you could just keep spamming it at people. It's a great ranged option, as well as it disables abilities, which the Chomp Cannon does not. So that one, I'm sorry, is not useless. As much as I'd like to call it useless, it's not. And it's also a fun ability to use. But let's talk about the other Goop abilities, Super Sticky Goop. So if you guys have watched my Chomper tech and unique properties video about the Chompers, you would know that the Super Sticky Goop kind of seems like a downgrade, and that's because it doesn't do damage over time, kind of similar to the Chomp Cannon. It does barely any damage, and then it has a slower recharge than the Goop. It still has a very fast recharge, but it is a slower recharge, and you cannot move when you are in the Super Sticky Goop. It also has different properties with your sensitivity. Especially on PC, I would say the Super Sticky Goop actually is better than the regular Goop. However, something that is not very talked about with the Super Sticky Goop is, let's say right here there's an opponent, right? And I'm reviving him, I'm a scientist. If I hit him with the Super Sticky Goop, it'll actually cancel the reviving. If you're defusing a bomb and no bomb, Super Sticky Goop will cancel that. Anything that's interactive, pressing the interact button, Super Sticky Goop cancels it out. The regular Goop doesn't. It doesn't list this anywhere in the ability description. All it says is, now that's sticky. But that's a use for it. It does have uses. It's not completely outclassed than the regular Goop. Sprint Burrow. This is one a lot of people really don't like, and I think it's because people don't use it properly. The reason I like this ability on the spray chompers is, one, I'm not using my burrow to eat people at all. The sprint burrow, yes, you can eat people. It's a little bit more difficult because the timing is tough, but you still can eat people with the sprint burrow. However, the reason I like using the sprint burrow on the spray chompers is because the reason you're going to be playing the spray chomper is because, well, you're going to be using the spray. You're not really going out of your way to eat people. So the sprint burrow can be used as a warp, basically. So you can go into your sprint burrow, and then right before it's done, you could cancel it, and you get a bit of momentum. And if you're on a hill, it's pretty useful, but if you use it more as a warp, it's pretty quick, and you could use it to, get around, like someone's trying to shoot you, you could use it like the scientist's warp, and, you could just like quickly get away, hop out of it, and then, it recharges really quickly. The regular burrow is kind of slow, so this one, it's a pretty good option. It's not useless in the slightest, and I actually recommend giving it a shot on the spray chompers. I think that was the point of it. Anyways, let's talk about the sunbeam and the solar flare beam. So this is one that I think is kind of like the retro Gatling. The sunbeam is like the retro Gatling of the solar flare beam. Sunbeam, it has 100 ammo. It has great projectile speed, hit scan laser. 100 ammo is nice, and then it doesn't have any startup when you use it. It's instant. Now on the other hand, the solar flare beam, it has a slight startup when you use it, but it does so much more damage. It's completely accurate. It shreds everything. It's such a good ability. The solar flare beam is just better, but if you do want more ammo, you can use the sunbeam, but I highly recommend against it. Yeah, that's just a silly ability. I just don't really see the point. Speaking of not seeing the point, let's go over to the legend, the one and only landscaper. Let's talk about the regular jackhammer and the turbo jackhammer. So regular jackhammer is what you start off with, obviously, and it goes far. It goes the same distance as the turbo jackhammer, but you might think, what's the point of using this over the turbo jackhammer, because it's just slower, it goes just as far? Well, I'll tell you. There's a really stupid niche for this, and it's if a corn goes into his husk hop and you hit him with the jackhammer, it'll actually cancel him out of the husk hop. Whereas the turbo jackhammer won't do that. So yes, it does have a niche. Turbo jackhammer is just better in my opinion because it's faster, it goes just as far, and it allows you to be more aggressive. But the regular jackhammer does have that one use case, so it's kind of stupid, but it's not completely useless, because if you hate corns that much, that's a use. The Bling and armor heal stations do have a use, I suppose. They have an insane amount of health. You could also sometimes avoid bean bombs with them if you hide behind them, and they're also taller than the regular heal station, so you could use it to get up to higher areas. But it heals half as fast as the regular heal station, but it does recharge significantly faster, so it does have a use. I do not recommend using this ability at all, but you can use the armor heal station. Same with the Bling heal station. They're extremely outclassed. But if you want the faster recharge, go for it. I'm not a fan. I prefer the regular heal station. With that, I think I am all done today talking about these abilities. If you guys want me to talk about some other abilities, let me know. But I'm going to wrap it up here. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, join the Discord, and leave a comment down below which abilities are your favorite. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.